Hey guys, I want to give you an idea on what I take on a daily basis to stay healthy at this stage of the game. As many of you know, and some of you don't know, I have hepatitis C or HCV. I was diagnosed in October of 2010, about 6 months after I had went to a place to have some dental work done in Mexico. The dental work was done in about March of 2010. I started feeling like really yucky in August of 2010, not knowing what in the heck was going on. I ended up getting a blood test, and I really believed I had hepatitis A or B from a foodborne illness from Mexico. And when I got the news of hepatitis C, it literally changed my life. I immediately went on the internet and tried to get as much information as I could about the affliction of hepatitis C or disease, which is known to destroy your liver. And I was very, very depressed. No, I've never taken anything for depression, and maybe I should have, or I certainly felt that I needed to. If anybody knows anybody that has hepatitis C or has it themselves, you probably know that there are there's symptomatic hepatitis C and non-symptomatic. There's millions of people that have it that don't even know it. They suggest everybody gets a blood test, and that's a whole nother story. But I want to tell you on how I have so far kept my hepatitis C symptoms in check. And it took about 4 to 5 months of being treated by a naturopathic doctor, not a regular doctor, at the cost of, I think in the 12 months I spent about 30 grand. And one thing that works really, really well is right here. I don't know if you can see it. This right here. I have scar tissue. No, I don't shoot up, but vitamin C IVs not only diminish the effects, the symptoms of hepatitis C, but once you get those symptoms down, which are basically inflammatory markers, vitamin C taken intravenously does some really, really incredible things, whether you have hep C or you don't have hep C, especially if you have cancer. They have proven that vitamin C infusions drastically cut down the need for chemotherapy. Of course, our medical community doesn't want you to know that, because chemotherapy runs in, tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars, where a simple IV, vitamin C IV, only costs maybe $100, sometimes even less, sometimes a little bit more. But this here is my pill bucket. And you can buy these buckets at Staples. They work really good. I remember when for storing vitamins, I remember when I was diagnosed, I went to my naturopathic doctor, and he subscribed about 30 different supplements initially. Now I've weaned down. Some of these I use, some I don't, but I wanted to share them with you. But 30 different vitamins, different things to take. And when I got them, I go, how in the heck am I going to remember to take these things when I'm supposed to take them in the amount that I'm supposed to take them? So what I did is I came up with a system where I write down how many, what it is, that sort of thing. And I try to keep the ones I daily take over here. And then these are the ones I phased out of. And then I also have this one. So I actually have 2 different buckets for what I call my afflictions or my torments, that are now largely under control in most ways. Specifically speaking about the hepatitis C virus. Having hepatitis C will change your life. It'll clean up your diet. It'll force you to do that. A lot of times, if you when you're diagnosed, you go in for blood work, and there's a lot. Your blood is like a roadmap of your health. Of course, most doctors don't like to treat the the problems, they like to treat the symptoms. So you end up taking 20 or 30 prescription drugs that cost really a lot more than the naturopathic stuff, and have a much less degree of success. So let me just show you what's really important for you to take on a daily basis if you have hepatitis C. Oh, I got this backwards. I thought it looked kind of weird. I keep this up on my file cabinet, and so when I wake up in the morning, these three here are what I take. Awake, Saw Palmetto Plus, which has nothing to do with Hep C, but it keeps your prostate functioning, keeps you from getting up and going to the bathroom. This is magnesium. This is very, very inexpensive. I take one in the AM, one in the PM. I take these on an empty stomach when I get up. CuraPro. This is really fantastic. This is a antioxidant, and this reduces your inflammatories. Now, when I had my blood test taken, it showed that I was very susceptible and that I had yeast overgrowth in my stomach, which prevented me from assimilating a lot of what I ate, a lot of the vitamins that I took. And so it was suggested that another test was done, a gluten intolerance test, a gluten test. And I will say that probably a majority over a minority of people that have chronic pain, if they would do a simple test for gluten, it would show a gross gluten intolerance. And once you cut down gluten, within 4 to 6 months, you will eliminate a lot of the inflammatories that are affecting your body, affecting your blood. I went to a chiropractor for 20 years. Honestly, 8 to 12 times a month. I'm not kidding. I was in constant pain all the time. I was taking Oxycontin, oxycodone, Vicodin, whatever they wanted to prescribe for my symptoms. Instead of treating the problems, I would take. And then you get addicted to those. And the painkillers, they work pretty good, but they also have a very high analgesic effect, which my brain really welcomed, considering my social situation with my kids in autism. I could take kids having autism, I could take a pain pill, and it not only would help out on the pain, but it would also give me an analgesic effect to where the pain of life was not so severe. So I'm saying that any pharmaceuticals, I'm off of them. I've been off of them. They told me that if I didn't quit taking painkillers for my pain, that my liver would be destroyed and I would be dead within a couple of years. That got my attention, and never did I dream that my pain was being caused by inflammation that was being caused by gluten, and by correcting that, I would be able to have minimal hepatitis, symptoms of pain, and my pain would be gone. I'd be able to get off painkillers, which is a whole nother story. Anybody out there on those son of a guns, you got a tough road ahead to get off of them. And through getting hepatitis C, I look at it now as a blessing rather than a curse. So anyway, here is the other stuff. This is absolutely critical to take. Alpha lipoic acid, and I take those breakfast, lunch, and dinner one every three times a day at meals. This is very important here. Now I'm not going to go through all these. I'm going to go through the important ones. This is Zyme Forte. This is selenium. These two things here are the most important things for you to take once you start getting this under control. Very, very important. Quit eating gluten. Don't go to a regular doctor. Here's the other thing. Milk thistle. Oh, this is healthy for you even if you don't have Hep C. Milk thistle keeps your liver functioning. Everything goes through your liver that you take in. This is a great brand. This is Liver DTX. I got this from my acupuncturist. And this stuff is a liver detox. Now, originally when I took these, I took 3 to 4, 3 times a day. Now I'm on a maintenance program, 2 twice a day. And phenomenal, phenomenal stuff. Now I want to share something in my other bucket with you. I'm just going to keep going on. If you ever want me to go through each one of these, at length and talk about them, I can do that. Here's another one for my acupuncture. This is herbal analgesic. Now, I have TMJ. I grind my teeth. I have to wear a mouth guard. Therefore, every once in a while, my C1, C2 gets really screwed up. But instead of going to a chiropractor like I used to run 2 to 3 times a week to, I just take my Chinese herbs. I take 3 of these 3 times a day, and actually I can take 1 of these or 3 of these 1 time a day, and my pain will be completely gone, and it's supported by, of course, the herbal analgesic. Evergreen is a maker of these. You can buy them online. Very highly suggest it. Spinal support, back support, chronic. Oh my gosh. So not only did I have hepatitis C, but I had back problems, I had neck problems. 4 years before that, I had mycotoxin poisoning because of a dexagenomic problem that I inherited genetically from one of my parents. I cannot formulate and remove toxins from my system. So not only did I have an impaired liver, I had an impaired genetic problem where I couldn't, get things out of my system like toxins, like heavy metals, like insecticides, like GMOs. Everything has a profound effect on me. When I walk into Walmart, it smells like a Chinese plastic factory to me, and Kmart isn't much better. But when I walk outside, I have a very, very keen sense of smell, and I think it's also made my brain very, very keen on my surroundings. I pick up on things that most people wouldn't be sensitive to. If you watch some of my other videos, like the one I'm getting into with computers, and how computers are, really controlling the world right now. And it's your environment controls the world, controls your world, it controls your health, it controls your well-being. And so anyway, here's a good one for blood pressure, health concerns. It's called CBP. This was also prescribed by my acupuncturist. Just to give you an idea on the regimen that I went through, when I was in business and my business was through the roof, I had 5 stores and I was sick on my back with hepatitis C. Just newly diagnosed. So I was going to my acupuncturist, which treated me not only for the hep C, but I also developed, when you have hepatitis C, you get a really bad problem with anger. Now, when you get really, really angry, that anger is seated in your liver and your liver function. So my liver function was way off, and I was dangerous. I was so angry about everything, and I didn't really know what in the heck was causing it, other than the hep C. And that's what it was, because I'm not angry anymore. But if you're in Arizona and you have hep C, you can be prescribed the medical marijuana card automatically. Now, I don't take it. I did 3 years ago, and it helped incredibly for the anger. I wouldn't smoke it. They'd put it in a tincture, and I'd put a couple drops underneath my tongue, and the anger would go away. And I'd be somewhat mellow, but I was still very, very, very sick. But there's nothing worse than being sick and angry. Let's see, what else here? This is sleep aid. It's real hard sometimes when you have hep C to sleep. Liver detox, let's see. Oh, EDD, Essential Daily Defense. Now, I've cut back on a lot of this stuff. I was spending about $1,000 a month. This is really good. You take 2 of these daily. And let me say this, I get vitamin C infusions. Oh, I used to get them twice a week, cut back to once a week, now once every 2 weeks. Since I've had hepatitis C in the last 3.5 years, I have not gotten one cold. And since I've eliminated gluten from my diet, I used to be very, very allergic. Allergies were just, I would be miserable. I'd have to go in and get shots, Kenalog shots, because the allergies would turn into nasal infections and throat infections, and then I'd have to take antibiotics, and these organisms and everything was just feeding off each other. And it was just insane how sick every spring, every fall. And I would say that now that I've cut back on a lot of this stuff, sorry about that, that I have no allergies, I have no back pain, I have little to no inflammation, I still have hepatitis C, my liver functions are all normal. That doesn't give me a license to go out and do some of the things that I used to do, but I've cleaned up my act entirely. I've been forced to, and I choose living in life over death and suffering. And my heart goes out to anybody out there with hepatitis C, or that's addicted to pain pills, or addicted to anything. We live in such an addictive society that it's so easy to get pretty much hooked on anything, whether it's watching the nightly news or YouTube videos, or flicking on some pornography, or taking a pill, or taking a drink. Man, I'll tell you, we live in an addicted world, and we don't have to live that way. Thank God that there's ways of overcoming it. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy doing this. Oh yeah, I wanted to stick this in here. This is Life Shots. I just started taking this. I'm giving it a try. Makes some pretty decent claims. It's potent stuff, great mood. Oh yes, smooth energy, immune support, age-defying formula. A friend of mine wanted me to try this out. You can go ahead and look at some of the ingredients in this and decide if it's something you think would be beneficial. All these things in here are beneficial. And it's a process, guys. Just like living life is a process. Every day can get better if you make it better and you do the right thing. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. God bless.